Oh, I zoomed in. There we go. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today's video, if you didn't already know it by the title, is a get ready with me. So I finally put on makeup for the first time in like probably 2 weeks. And so this is my like rendition of a Valentine's Day makeup look. So this very like glowy, bronzy, bright, and I'll make sure to list all the products that I'm using in the description box, don't worry. And the eyelashes that I'm wearing are actually the EyeLure Pro Magnetic Lashes. So it's a liner and an eyelash set, and it's just like regular false lashes, except it's magnetic. So I didn't have to use any glue at all, which was really, really cool. And I'm super happy with how this turned out. Yeah. So that's all I have to say, I think, for my intro. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will make sure to link everything below, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel. It would mean so, so much. And I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day, and let's just get right into the video. Hey guys, welcome to the video. So I wanted to do a voiceover and really be able to talk to you in depth in this video about how I'm doing all of this, because the biggest request I get is for an in-depth tutorial. So we're starting off with a clean, cleansed face. I've moisturized, and the first thing I'm going to do is apply my primer. This is the NYX Angel Veil Primer, and you can see that I am pressing that gently into my skin, all over my nose, T-zone, chin, and cheeks. That's where my pores tend to be the biggest. Then I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Lumi Drops. My face has been really dry, so when it is dry, I like to use very hydrating and glowy products. So I'm going to go ahead and take this, just 3 little dabs, rub this together, and then rub it on my cheeks, my nose, and my forehead and chin, just to give my face a really nice, pretty overall glow. Now I'm going in with the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This is the shade Vanilla, and I am going to pump this out on the back of my hand, and I like to apply this using a blender sponge that is damp. So I love the Too Faced Born This Way. I will say that it is very matte and very thick and creamy, as you can see. So if you have dry skin, you're gonna want to use a hydrating primer and something to put like that glow back into your skin. I am making a little foundation cocktail here using the Maybelline FitMe Dewy and Smooth in a lighter shade, so that I can kind of get that perfect shade for my face. So I'm just taking the foundation mixed and applying it to my face using a blender sponge. This is a Real Techniques like diamond shaped sponge. I got it like over holiday from Ulta, but any blender sponge will do. And I am dabbing it all over my face, just kind of like little pouncing motions. I highly recommend to use a sponge or a product instead of your fingers. It's going to give you a more flawless and airbrushed finish. So I'm just going all around my face with that foundation, and you can build this product up to make it more full coverage or use less for a more sheer coverage. I am a high coverage kind of girl, so I did apply 2 more pumps on the back of my hand just to cover the rest of my face and get the coverage that I wanted, because I did have redness on my cheeks and on my nose and on my chin. Is concealer. So this is the Tarte Shape Tape. It is my absolute favorite, and I'm going to apply that up towards the inner corner of my eye and under my eyes. As you can see here, a little bit of this goes a long way, and you want to apply it only really to the areas that you need it, because it is very high coverage and it dries down very quickly, so you have to move kind of quick once you get this on your face. I am going to use the pointy end of that sponge, which I absolutely loved this feature. I was able to get up into the inner corner of my eye and my eyelids, and I'm going to, again, using that same motion, dabbing, so I'm not dragging that concealer, I'm just dabbing it down, pressing it into the skin gently, and it just gives such a flawless finish. This concealer is amazing. It is totally worth the $29 for the tube, and this color, I believe I am light neutral. Once I have the concealer all blended out, the next thing I'm going to do is dab that same sponge into some loose powder. I'm using the Maybelline FitMe loose powder in translucent, and I'm going to go over the concealer with that just to set it and make sure that it stays. And I find that when I set my entire face like this, the makeup does not move. It stays. It looks really airbrushed and just so pretty. So I'm going through and I'm setting my entire face, same little pouncing motions, so I'm not dragging the sponge, I'm just pouncing up and down, dabbing it out and setting all of that fluid makeup with the powder. And next I'm just using a big fluffy brush with just a tiny bit of that same Maybelline Fit Me loose powder going over my face and then my neckline, just to make sure that the neck and my face are, you know, one shade. I don't want like any stark lines on my chin, so I like to go through and do that after I've got foundation and concealer set. Now I'm going to move on to brows. So this is how I do my brows. I'm going to explain this to you guys pretty in depth in this video because I get a lot of requests for how to do my brows. So I am taking an LA Girl Shady Slim Skinny Eye Pencil. This is the medium brown shade. And I'm taking the spoolie end and I am brushing the front of my brows upwards. And then the tail end of my brow, I'm actually brushing those hairs downward to get ready to start lining my brows out. So for actually lining my brows, I'm going to be using the Benefit Ka-Brow. It's like a pomade type, really creamy product. And so I'm going to be using that to fill in my brows. I'm going to take this very tiny little angled pencil and I'm going to just follow my natural brow line. Pretty much just making a line right underneath and then following the top of my brow and connecting it at the tail. What I typically do is focus the most of the product in the center, so the darkest part of my brow is the center, and then little feathering flick motions I will brush upwards toward the front of the brow. That just kind of gives it a more natural look, and just in my opinion that's how I like to do it. And then as you can see, I'll go through and add more product if I need to and finish out the brow. I'm going to do the same exact thing for the other side, so following my natural brow line and creating the shape that I want. So I'm starting out with the bottom and then filling in the top and then the middle. To the rest of my face, now I am taking a bronzer from my Kylie Holiday Face palette, and I am applying that with the NARS Ita brush. This is just like a straight flat brush, and I am not really contouring with this. I'm just applying the bronzer under my cheekbones, on my forehead, and then blending it all out really well. I also like to take it under my chin, so it just kind of gives you that more like structured, dramatic face look. I'm also going to apply this under my bottom lip and then kind of at the top of the cheekbones and on the sides of my nose, not necessarily contouring per se, but just really adding some color back into my face. Now I'm going to take this Morphe, I think this is a concealer brush, but I'm using it to kind of blend out my face here so that that nose color doesn't look so crazy. And taking that Maybelline Fit Me loose powder and going over my nose, creating that shape because I felt like all the bronzer just kind of fell all over it. same Morphe brush and dab that back in the Maybelline powder to set my eyelids. So this is a really important step, especially if you're going to do a dramatic eye look, or really any eye look where you're using more than one eyeshadow. So I'm just setting my eyelids with that Maybelline powder to give me a fresh, solid base to start my eyeshadow. And then I don't know why I like hopped back and forth. I switched back to doing my bronzer. I decided that I wanted it to be a little darker, so I grabbed the Benefit Hoola bronzer, and this is a bronzer brush. I believe it's the Walmart brand actually. So I'm just going that all over the outline that I already had done with the Kylie bronzer, and just blending that out really, really good, making sure that it's all nice and blended. So I'm using the Milani Luminoso. This is my Ride or Die blush, and I'm applying that with the same brush that I used for the bronzer. I'm just putting that on the apples of my cheeks and then blending it upward. So you do want to make sure that you're blending really well between your bronzer and your blush so that it doesn't look like you have like a pink line and a brown line. You want to really blend that out. I'm gonna dip back into that Kylie palette and use the lighter shade. I'll have it listed in the description box below. I'm using a highlighter fan brush. This is just such a pretty glowy color. And I'm gonna take that on the fan brush and then sweep that on the tops of my cheekbones in an upward sweeping motion. And then on the bridge of my nose, my Cupid's bow. Kylie Cosmetics, one of her holiday palettes. This is like the pinky colored one. So I'm going to take this and start my eye look. I'm going to start out with just a fluffy blending brush, and this neutral shade right here is going to be my transition shade. So a transition shade is just an eyeshadow that you use pretty much like a base. So I'm going to apply that with a fluffy brush all over my crease and upwards, just to give a really nice solid color, and it's going to make it easier as I apply the colors on top of this. Ahead and zoomed the camera in so that you could see a little better as I do this. So I'm adding more of the transition shade into the crease. I am using little circular motions at the outer part of my crease and then windshield wiper motions. You can see I'm just going back and forth and really blending that out. The tip here is that the more you blend the eyeshadow, the more seamless and natural it's going to look. I'm going to take that transition shade and I'm also going to brush that underneath my eye just to kind of give it more dimension, and I just really like how this looks. So that transition shade is going to go up, and then I'm just sweeping it back and forth just to give some extra color, and I just feel like it looks better when I go in with the eyeliner. Now I'm going to take a darker brown shade from that palette and I am going to deepen up the crease. So I'm going to take a different Morphe brush and I'm going to place that color in the outer part of my crease, and I'm just building that color up. So I'm just dabbing a little bit on and then blending it, and then I'll pick some more back up from the palette, tap the brush off, and then apply it again. And you can build up the color this way as dark as you want it, and this will also make sure that you don't apply too much at one time, and so it makes it a lot easier to blend it out. Again, little circular motions at the edge and then windshield wiper motions in and out. Really smoke out this look, I'm going to take yet again another darker brown shade from that palette, and I'm going to put that in the outermost part of my crease. So I'm really focusing this color on the very, very edge. I don't want to bring it too far in. I want to keep it just on the outer portion, and you'll see how this just really opens up the eyes. So I'm just dabbing with my brush. I'm not really sweeping it over, just in the spot that I want it. Smaller blending brush. I think this is the Morphe 510. I'll have the exact one listed down below for you guys, but this is a smaller tapered blending brush, and I'm going to pick up the black in the palette, and I'm just going to very, very lightly brush this on the very, very edges. So this is the secret to how you get a really nice smoky eye. So just a little bit of product, and you can see how I'm just blending that on the outer portion. So I'm going to take that black. It is very, very pigmented, so you only need a little bit at a time. And then I'm just going to lightly tap that and then blend it just in that one little spot. This step in itself adds just so much dimension, and it looks so pretty and really, really gives off that smoky eye vibe. I'm going to take that larger fluffy brush that I use for one of the lighter brown colors, and I'm going to go over that and just blend all of those together. So using this little trick as well really just makes it look very seamless, very dimensional, and just blends it all so well together. Take that small brush again with the very small amount of black. I don't even think I added any more product, and I'm going to sweep that under my eyes to line the bottoms. And I'm handing off Emmy here because doing this one-handed was very hard. But I'm going to take that brush and just gently brush that product on the lower lash line. This is something that I like to do as an alternative to using like eyeliner. I feel like when I use eyeshadow, it just makes it look really pretty and really airbrushed and very seamless. Picking up one of the shimmer shadows just on my finger, I'm going to apply it to the inner part of my eyelid and the center. So you will see that this did give a lot of fallout, so you have to be really careful. If I would have realized it was this flaky, I would have put the little shadow strips underneath, but I'll show you in a second how I get rid of the fallout. I'm going to take that big fluffy brush from the beginning, and I'm just going to flick it in an upward motion very lightly, and that'll get that fallout all out for you. So just use my finger to blend that out. So I'm concentrating that foiled shimmery color in the center. Now I'm going to take that darker bronzy shimmer color, and I'm going to line that with a fine-tipped liner pencil just on the lower lash line, just to give it some extra dimension. And I just really like layering lots of eyeshadows. If you haven't noticed, you totally don't have to do this, but I thought it really did add like an extra little pop to the look. Taking the lightest shimmer highlight color, I'm going to go in with a pencil-sized Morphe brush and just dust that on the inner corners of the eyes. This step, oh my gosh, you guys, makes such a difference. It literally, in my opinion, just brings the whole look to life. So I'm taking that color and I am just pushing that on the inner corners of the eyes and then blending it upwards. This will also just make your eyes look more awake and bright and airy. It just gives it such a beautiful look. I'm also going to sweep that right under my brow and just highlight the brow bone. I'm going to line the top of my eyes with this Maybelline felt tip liner, and I really like to just do a nice thin line. Here I'm just topping off that liquid liner with a little bit of black eyeshadow over top of it. I just like to set it that way. That's totally optional. using these EyeLure magnetic lashes. So the liner is step 1, so I'm going to put that over top of the eyeliner I already put on. And then this has some kind of chemical in it, I don't know what, that makes the lash strip actually stick to it. So I'm just putting that on. I will say that I had to do 2 pretty heavy coats of this for the lashes to stick on, and it did take a while for it to dry down, so just be aware of that if you do use these 2. Try not to do anything right after or you'll get it everywhere, but overall I really like how it did turn out. I'm going to apply these lashes. I just used my fingers. I did not need to use tweezers like when you use glue, and you literally just line it up to the eyeliner, and it has little tiny magnetic strips on it that just stick. It was totally different. If you're used to wearing lashes with glue, it is a little bit different, but they did stay on. I had to reapply a little bit at one point of the liner to get the top of the lash to stick, but if you have enough of the liner on, it will stay. So this is the completed look. I love how this turned out. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.